Hi, Russ Williams here. I wanted to share something I've been working on recently. I've created a fully Azure-based human handoff solution built on the Azure Communication Services that makes it really easy to add agent escalation capabilities to your bot. Now, you could use a commercial solution like LivePerson or Dynamics Omnichannel for agent escalation, but these are separate SaaS solutions and you'd need to acquire them and integrate those into your bot to use them. What I've created is a ready-made agent escalation capability built on Azure services that can be packaged and deployed as part of your bot. Adding agent escalation to your bot is really easy. It only takes a few lines of code, and since it's built from the Bot Framework's Agent Hub SDK, you'll code it the very same way you would if you were using LivePerson or Omnichannel. This symmetry also means that you could start with the Agent Hub I've created and easily switch to a commercial solution like LivePerson or Omnichannel with just a few changes. You can use this Agent Hub solution to quickly and easily explore escalation scenarios during development, or use it in scenarios that can't cost justify a commercial solution, like say a small internal help desk bot. You could also use this as a starting point or a blueprint for building a new Agent Hub for something like Genesys or Cisco. There is a catch though. This solution is super primitive at the moment, so it's really best suited for exploring and demonstrating human handoff scenarios in development. Okay, that's enough context. Let's drill in a bit here. I've used the Bot Framework's Agent Hub SDK to build an Agent Hub on top of Azure Communication Services. Developers will use the ACS connector to integrate the ACS Agent Hub into their bot with just a few lines of code. The ACS connector listens for escalation requests from the user and then brokers the conversation with the human agent. Those conversations are hosted on ACS chat threads that are managed by the ACS service. Agents, in turn, will manage those user conversations in an agent portal that's built around the new ACS UI library and its chat component control. This diagram is a simplified view of the actual implementation. Here's a more detailed view of how the implementation works. Now there's a lot going on here, but the good news is all these details have been abstracted away behind the ACS connector. And as I mentioned, from the developer's perspective, it just takes a few lines of standard code to integrate the Agent Hub. Alright, let me show you this solution in action. I jumped over to the agent portal here, and this is where agents will manage the contact center workload. The list you see here shows active conversations the agent is managing. It shows the user's name, the main reason for the call, and the call status. Green phones are queued escalations waiting for an agent to answer. Red phones are active conversations. Agents will use this to end the conversation. And this funny dashed icon you see here is a user-terminated conversation. It's a nice feature that lets the user end the conversation and continue with the bot. If I drill into this first conversation here, you can see the chat component from the new ACS UI library that's in private preview. This control made creating this agent portal very easy. Everything you see here came for free when you used this control. It shows the chat participants here. It has a conversation title here, and finally, you have the familiar conversational canvas with chat history and a message input field. So that's the agent's view. Let's switch to the bot user's view. For this demo, I've started several instances of the bot emulator, and each instance of the emulator you see here is a separate bot conversation from the bot service perspective. I'll jump into one of the escalated conversations here so I can explain what's happening. If I scroll up here, you can see that Father Time is asked to speak to an agent earlier in the conversation. Now, he could have expressed that intent in a variety of ways since I'm using the Lewis general intent that comes with a virtual assistant template. Now, you'll see that in the standard interrupt handler here that checks for that particular intent. Since I wanted to gather the user's name and the reason for the escalation, I've created an escalation dialog that I'm calling here. So if I switch to that dialog, you can see that sending the escalation event using the Bot Framework SDK only takes a few lines of code. Sending that event triggers the middleware to begin brokering the conversation to the Agent Hub, which is the state the conversation is in now. In this brokered state, the bot user is no longer talking to the bot since the middleware is intercepting the user's message and forking it off to the Agent Hub. We'll pick things up here with the agent asking about the price range. So I'll respond with something super clever here. And in this brokered state, the ACS connector logic takes the user's message and sends it to an ACS chat thread that the agent portal is tapping into. So if I switch back to the agent portal here, we should see that response. Agents manage multiple conversations simultaneously, so to keep things honest here, I'll respond back to show the message being routed back to its originating bot service conversation. This demonstrates one of the more interesting aspects of this ACS Agent Hub. There are actually two separate conversations, one in the bot service and one in an ACS chat thread. The ACS connector bridges these two worlds, with outgoing messages being sent to the ACS chat thread and incoming messages being pumped into the bot service conversation. Pretty cool, huh? So that's what an active conversation looks like. Let me show you the rest of the conversation lifecycle. I'm going to launch a new emulator here so I can show you the escalation experience. I'll enter an escalation trigger phrase, type in a name, and finally, I'll provide an escalation reason. So if we switch back to the agent portal now, I can show the agent experience of taking ownership of that escalated request. Now I haven't gotten around to adding polling to the agent portal yet, so temporarily I'll use this refresh button to update the list of conversations. So here's that escalation request, and I'll take ownership by clicking the answer button. At this point, the bot user will see a message that says an agent has accepted their request and will be with them shortly. From here, the agent can use the context of the escalation reason and the chat history that I'll be adding soon to begin the support conversation. So that's starting a conversation. Let's end a conversation and see that experience. Jack here looks like he's all done, so let's end that conversation. First, I'll send a message to let Jack know I'm ending the conversation. And now I'll click the Hang Up button. Now, if I switch back to the emulator, we should see a message telling the user the conversation is ended and that the conversation has been returned to the bot. So if I type hi here, we should see the bot respond. Excellent. I mentioned earlier that bot users can unilaterally end a conversation. So let's take a look at this rather impatient user. The agent experience shows that the bot user ended the call and that the conversation has been returned to the bot. So if I type in hi, we'll see the bot now responding just as we saw in the previous example. I'll round out this demo by going back to the agent portal and closing out that user-terminated conversation. Here we go. I'll click the Close button. And there you have it, the ACS Agent Hub. Now, up to this point, I've been showing a single agent scenario, but multiple agents can use this portal simultaneously to scale up agent capacity. I do have a bit more work left, though, before this capability is ready. Right now, every agent sees all conversations, even ones that other agents have taken ownership of. So that's what I wanted to share. The next steps are to put this up on GitHub and see if I can get a little bit of help in fixing bugs and building out the remaining features, and who knows, maybe a community forums that takes this from primitive and turns it into something that could be used in a wider capacity. Stay tuned.